You have a relative whose name begins with the letter R, and this person speaks ill of you behind your back. You already suspected it. Perhaps you have already felt that tightness in your chest when you enter a room and the subject suddenly changes. That yellow smile that does not match the gaze. Indeed. It is not paranoia. It is not something in your head. It is real. And today I'm going to show you why this person does this, what it reveals about them, and principally how you will emerge from this situation stronger, lighter, and more protected than ever. Stay with me until the end, because the last part of this video will completely change the way you deal with this situation from today onwards. Before continuing, I need to tell you something. This video did not reach you by chance. You were guided here. Something inside you asked for this answer, and the universe delivered. So if it makes sense to you, leave your like now. This simple gesture helps this video reach more people who are also going through this. And subscribe to the channel if you have not yet subscribed, because the content we bring here truly changes lives. Now let us get to what matters. But first, a warning. What I'm going to share with you in the next few minutes is not guesswork. It is a compilation of more than 3 decades studying human behavior, family dynamics, and applied spirituality. It is science mixed with experience. It is reason added to intuition. And if you absorb this content with an open heart, I guarantee you that Sunday lunch will never be the same for you again. Not because the situation will magically change, but because you will change. And when you change, everything around you changes together. I'm going to ask you to do a quick exercise. Think now of your family. Think of the Sunday lunches, the Christmas gatherings, the birthdays. Think of that person whose name begins with R. It could be Roberto, Renata, Rodrigo, Roseanne, Raphael, Regina, Ricardo, Raquel. You know whom I am talking about. It is that person who in front of you is one thing, but when you turn your back, the discourse changes completely. They distort what you said. They exaggerate details that did not exist. They plant seeds of doubt about you in the heads of others. And the worst, they do this with a smile on their face, as if they were the most innocent person in the world. You have already tried to understand why. You have already lost nights of sleep thinking about what you did wrong. You have already wondered if you deserve this. I'm going to give you the answer now, and it may surprise you. You did nothing wrong. The problem was never you, and in the next few minutes you will understand exactly why. Let us begin with the symptoms, because before treating anything, we need to recognize what is happening. The first symptom is silent isolation. You begin to perceive that certain people in the family distance themselves from you for no apparent reason. That cousin who was close suddenly turns cold. That uncle who always treated you well now greets you with distance. No one said anything to you directly, but something changed, and you feel it in your body. You feel it in the way you are received at meetings. You feel it in the way conversations stop when you arrive. The second symptom is destructive self-demand. You begin to question yourself too much. Did I say something wrong? Did I offend someone without realizing it? Am I boring, inconvenient, difficult to deal with? This internal voice begins to corrode you, and the cruelest part is that this voice is not yours. It was planted there by someone who needs you to feel small so that they can feel large. The third symptom is emotional exhaustion. Going to family gatherings becomes a burden. You go, but you return destroyed inside. You keep ruminating on situations, analyzing gazes, interpreting phrases. That which should be a moment of connection and affection transforms into an arena of emotional survival. And then the body takes its toll: insomnia, headache, muscular tension, anxiety. Research conducted in Brazil by the Brazilian Psychiatric Association shows that prolonged family conflicts are among the 3 main causes of anxiety crises in adults over 35 years old. It is not a whim. It is your body telling you that something needs to change. And there still exists a 4th symptom that few people talk about: the guilt for feeling bad. This is very Brazilian. We grow up hearing that we have to be grateful for the family we have, that there are people in worse situations. That family is for life. And then when we feel anger, hurt, or the desire to distance ourselves, a huge guilt comes along, as if feeling pain were ingratitude, as if protecting oneself were selfishness. And this guilt traps you in a vicious cycle. You suffer from the gossip, you feel anger, then you feel guilt for the anger, and you end up returning to the same place to prove to yourself that you are a good person. And the cycle restarts, week after week, month after month, year after year, until one day the body cannot take it and screams in a way that you can no longer ignore. If you identified with at least 2 of these symptoms, comment below the word truth, because I know that many people here are living this at this exact moment and are ashamed to speak. When you comment, you are not just venting. You are helping another person who will read your comment and think, I am not alone in this. Now that we have recognized the symptoms, let us go to the part that no one tells you, the real causes. And I warn you, this will affect you, because the truth is deeper than it seems. The first cause is envy disguised as concern. This is perhaps the most common in the Brazilian family context. The person who speaks ill of you behind your back is often bothered by something you have or something you are. It could be your freedom of expression. It could be your courage to make different choices. It could be your relationship, your job, the house you built, the peace you appear to have. In Brazil, we grew up hearing that envy is the evil of the Brazilian. But inside the home we have difficulty recognizing this, because we do not want to believe that someone from our own family feels envy of us, but they do. And when envy is not recognized and worked on internally, it transforms into gossip, into veiled criticism, into silent sabotage. Think of a scene that is common in millions of Brazilian homes. You buy a new car or renovate your house or get a promotion at work. In front of you, the relative whose name begins with R offers congratulations, says they are happy for you. But as soon as you leave the room, the tone changes. But are they not living above what they can afford? I think that is all paid in installments. You will see they are not paying the bills correctly. Do you perceive? It is not legitimate concern. It is envy using the mask of concern, so as not to appear as envy. And this is the most treacherous form that exists, because it is difficult to confront someone who says they are concerned about you. Neuroscience explains this very clearly. When a person feels envy, the anterior cingulate cortex, a region of the brain linked to social pain, is activated. The brain processes envy as pain. And to relieve this pain, the brain seeks compensation mechanisms. One of these mechanisms is the lowering of the other. Speaking ill of you relieves the pain that this person feels for not being or not having what you are or have. It is not personal against you. It is an emotional survival mechanism of someone who has not learned to deal with their own feelings. The second cause is projection. In psychology, projection is when a person attributes to another characteristics that they do not accept in themselves. So when this relative with a name starting with R says that you are selfish, in truth, they are talking about their own selfishness that they cannot see. When they say you are arrogant, they are projecting their own insecurity. When they say you think you are better than others, they are revealing their own inferiority complex. Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists in history, called this the shadow. The shadow is everything that the person does not accept in themselves and projects onto others. And within the family, this dynamic is intensified. Because family relationships are the oldest and deepest we have, it is in the family that our emotional patterns were formed, and it is in the family that these patterns repeat with more force. The third cause, and pay close attention here because this is the one that will set you free, is the role you occupy in the family dynamic. In every family, there exists what systemic psychology calls functional roles. There is the hero, the rebel, the peacemaker, the scapegoat. In many Brazilian families, there is a person who unconsciously carries the pains and conflicts of all the others. This person is criticized, is judged, is spoken of behind their back, but not because they did something wrong. Rather, it is because the family system needs someone to deposit the tension that no one wants to face. If you are the person being spoken of behind your back, there is a real chance that you are the most conscious person in your family, the one who has evolved the most emotionally, the one who dared to be different, and it is precisely for this reason that you bother them. Because your light exposes the shadows of others, and this hurts those who are not ready to look at themselves in the mirror. I know this is heavy. Breathe deeply now, seriously. Fill your lungs with air, hold for 3 seconds, and release through your mouth. You need this moment of pause before what comes next, because now we are going to talk about the solution. And the solution is not what you expect. Most people in this situation think that the solution is confrontation. To go there, face the person, put everything you know on the table, or else to distance yourself completely, to cut relations for good. And in some extreme cases, distancing can indeed be necessary. But before reaching that point, there exists a more powerful, more intelligent, and more transformative path. And it is exactly this that I'm going to teach you now. The first step of the solution is conscious emotional detachment. This does not mean ceasing to feel. It means stopping feeding yourself emotionally from what this person says or does. Every time you keep ruminating on what was said about you, every time you lose sleep because of family gossip, you are giving energy to this situation. You are feeding a cycle that does not belong to you. There is a very beautiful concept in spirituality that says the following: that which is not yours does not belong to you. The opinion that this person has about you is their problem, not yours. It is the reflection of their fears, their insecurities, and their pains. It has nothing to do with who you really are. The American psychologist Don Miguel Ruiz, in the book The Four Agreements, said that the second agreement is, do not take anything personally. Nothing that others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their reality. In practice, how do you apply this in daily life? Every time gossip reaches you, information that they spoke ill of you, do this mental exercise. Imagine that this information is a letter that arrived at your address, but the name on the envelope is not yours. It is not for you. Return it to the sender mentally. Breathe and move forward. In the beginning it is difficult, I know, but with time this practice becomes natural, and the freedom you feel is indescribable. The second step is to shield your energy. This is not vague mysticism. It is a practical matter of emotional and even spiritual health. Before going to any family gathering, do an internal preparation. It can be a prayer, a 5-minute meditation, a positive affirmation. Something simple like I am protected, I am strong. No energy that is not mine will affect me today. You may think it an exaggeration, but there is science behind this. Cognitive psychology shows that positive affirmations activate the brain's reward system and reduce the stress response. When you prepare yourself emotionally before a challenging situation, your brain enters that situation with more resources to deal with provocations and malicious comments. And there is one more practical thing that works very well. Choose an emotional anchor. It can be a small object that you carry in your pocket, a ring, a rosary, a stone, something that, when you touch it, reminds you of who you are and what you decided for yourself. This is not superstition. It is a sensory trigger that your brain associates with the emotional state you chose. Every time you feel that the energy of the environment is pulling you down, touch this object and repeat your intention mentally. It seems too simple to work, but it works. And it works because the human brain responds to rituals and symbols in a much deeper way than we imagine. There are people who use the light shield technique. Before leaving home, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and visualize a golden light involving your entire body. This visualization activates regions of the brain linked to the sensation of security and belonging. It does not matter if you are Catholic, Spiritist, Evangelical, Umbandist, or if you follow no religion. The technique works because it works with the neurophysiological structure of the human being, which is universal. If this content is making sense to you so far, do one thing for me. Touch the bell to activate notifications. That way you do not miss the next videos, because I bring content like this every week, and many people tell me they discovered the channel too late. Do not let that happen to you. The third step is to establish limits with love. This is fundamental and is where most people fail. In Brazil, we have a very strong culture that family is sacred and that we have to endure everything because it is family. But I need to tell you something with all honesty. Family is sacred, yes, but your well-being is also sacred. Your peace is also sacred. Your mental health is also sacred. And no blood bond justifies the destruction of your inner peace. Establishing limits does not mean fighting. It does not mean screaming. It does not mean humiliating. It means saying with clarity and firmness what you accept and what you do not accept in your life. It means reducing the time of exposure to this person when necessary. It means choosing not to participate in certain situations that you know will hurt you. It means ceasing to give accounts of your life to those who do not deserve that intimacy. And here enters something that is very important. You do not need to announce your limits to anyone. You do not need to give a speech at the Christmas table explaining why you are distancing yourself. Limits are internal first. You decide within yourself how far it goes and what you will no longer tolerate. And your attitudes will communicate this in a much more powerful way than any words. Now comes the part that I consider the deepest of this entire video. And I asked you to stay until the end precisely because of this. The fourth step is to understand the spiritual mission behind this pain. If you believe that nothing happens by chance, and I firmly believe in that, then this situation with this relative is not a punishment. It is a school. It is an intensive master's degree in self-knowledge, in forgiveness, and in spiritual strengthening. In the Spiritist tradition, very present in Brazilian culture, there exists the concept that we choose our families before incarnating. We do not choose the most comfortable families, but the ones that will provide us with the lessons our soul needs to learn in this existence. If this is true, then this person who speaks ill of you behind your back is, paradoxically, one of the greatest masters of your journey. I know this is difficult to accept. Believe me, I know. But think with me. This situation forced you to look inside yourself. It forced you to question what is truth and what is the opinion of others. It forced you to develop a strength that people who live in comfort never needed to develop. It forced you to choose yourself, perhaps for the first time in your life. And this is a gift, even if wrapped in pain. But attention, understanding the spiritual lesson does not mean accepting abuse. It does not mean keeping silent in the face of injustice. It means that while you protect yourself and establish limits, you also choose not to carry hate in your heart. Because hate is a poison that you drink hoping the other will die. Forgiveness is not for the one who hurt you. Forgiveness is for you. It is your passport to emotional freedom. Now I want to tell you a story that illustrates all of this. There was a woman in Minas Gerais, I will call her Dona Maria, who for years was the target of gossip from her own sister-in-law. The sister-in-law spread throughout the entire family that Dona Maria was a gold digger, that she only approached her brother for money, that she was a terrible mother. Dona Maria cried many nights. She thought about cutting relations. She thought about confronting the sister-in-law in the middle of the Sunday barbecue, but instead of that, she did something different. Dona Maria began to work on herself. She began to meditate. She began to attend a self-knowledge group at the neighborhood church. She began to read about emotional intelligence, and gradually, a transformation happened. Not in the sister-in-law, but in her. Dona Maria stopped reacting, stopped justifying herself, stopped losing energy with what she could not control. She simply started living her life with presence and purpose. She told me something that marked me deeply. She said that the turning point was when she realized she spent more time thinking about her sister-in-law than thinking about her own dreams. She was so consumed by the pain of family rejection that she had forgotten to live her own life. She had forgotten the things she loved to do. She had forgotten to water her own garden because she was too busy looking at the weeds in the neighbor's yard. From that moment on, Dona Maria made a radical choice. Every time a thought about the sister-in-law came to mind, she redirected that energy to something that nourished her. She would go take care of the plants. She would call a real friend. She would read a page of a book that had been on the nightstand for months. She would walk in the neighborhood park. She would prepare that special coffee she liked so much. Small things. But each of these small things was an act of self-love that was rebuilding the self-esteem that the gossip had tried to destroy. And do you know what happened? The sister-in-law did not stop talking, but the words lost their power, because when you do not give an audience to the spectacle loses its meaning. The family began to perceive who was really who, not because Dona Maria pointed fingers, but because the truth has its own way of coming to light when we stop forcing it. And this is the fifth and last lesson I want to leave you today. The truth does not need your defense. It defends itself. When you live with integrity, with coherence, with honesty, the people around you perceive it. It may take time. It may seem that the lie is winning, but it is not. The lie is like a straw fire. It burns fast and high, but it goes out by itself. The truth is like an ember. It burns silently, but it never goes out. There is a very beautiful African proverb that says the following: "The tree that bears fruit is the one they throw stones at." If you are being attacked, it is because you have something that others desire. It could be your peace, your joy, your capacity to move forward, your faith. So instead of being ashamed of being the target of gossip, consider this a confirmation that you are on the right path. Now, before closing, I want to summarize the 5 steps we talked about here today. First, conscious emotional detachment. Stop feeding the cycle of gossip emotionally. What they say about you does not define you. Second, energetic shielding. Prepare yourself internally before exposing yourself to potentially toxic environments. Third, limits with love. Protect your peace without needing to destroy bridges. Fourth, understanding the spiritual mission. Understand that this pain has a greater purpose in your growth. Fifth, trust the truth. Live with integrity and let time show who is who. If this video reached you today, it is because you were ready to hear this. Do not ignore this call. Start applying these steps today, not tomorrow. Today. Because every day you spend carrying a pain that is not yours is a day you steal from yourself. I want to make one last request. If this video touched you, if you felt that something in here made sense, share it with someone who is also going through this. Send it in the family group, on WhatsApp, wherever. Because sometimes the person who most needs to hear this is precisely the one who will never look for it on their own. Your sharing can be the turning point in someone's life. Comment below, what was the part of the video that most affected you? I read all the comments and make a point of responding to as many as I can. This space here is sacred. It is a place of welcoming, of exchange, and of healing. Now I'm going to tell you something that perhaps no one has told you today. You are stronger than you imagine. You survived things you thought were going to destroy you. And you are here, standing, watching this video, seeking answers. This is already proof that your soul is a warrior. This relative whose name begins with R can continue talking, can continue spreading untruths, can continue trying to diminish you. But from today onwards, the words of this person will no longer have power over your peace. Because you understood the game. You understood the dynamic. And whoever understands the game ceases to be a piece and becomes a player. Your energy is sacred. Your time is precious. Your peace is non-negotiable. Protect these 3 things with nails and teeth and observe your life transform. I am grateful that you stayed with me until here. Truly, every minute you dedicated to this video was an investment in yourself, and I guarantee you that this investment will yield a return. Did you subscribe to the channel? If not, take the opportunity and subscribe now. Activate the bell so as not to miss the next contents. Every week there is a new video with themes that will help you live a fuller, more conscious, and more protected life. We will see each other in the next video. Take care of yourself, take care of your energy, and remember, whoever speaks ill of you behind your back is because they are behind you. And whoever is behind is never in front. Go in peace.